Welcome guys, we're going to be running some tests to see what's better, quality or quantity. So I've auto-designed all of the enemy ships, so they're the same ships every time we do the test. And I've calculated that this is the correct amount of ships for my battleship versus their ships. So the first test will be the cheapest battleship that I can build. Not the cheapest, but the cheapest effective. So we've got 25.5 knots, which is just before the first increase to cost and weight. We're just running minimum beam at the moment. If we put it up to maximum beam, it does increase the cost by 9 million and it gives us 6% extra weight, but obviously that means that then I need to spend the extra weight, which is then going to further increase the cost. So this is the first cheapest ship, so we're going to run this first. We've got 100% engine efficiency, negative smoke interference. We've got the lightest armour, not the lightest, the heaviest armour, the cheapest armour. We haven't put any reload on, mainly because it's not really worth the weight, and I'm not sure how bad it affects the aiming speed, so I'm just going to leave it off on all of the designs. We've got the best rangefinder, so this is the armour scheme. It's pretty much 1299 with 4.5, 2.5 on these. Obviously it's not perfect, but I mean I could reduce this a little bit, put some into this, but can't be bothered to tinker around with it. Okay, so this is the first test. Once we've done this, we're going to increase the beam to give us extra accuracy, and then with the weight left over we're going to put some more armour on. So that'll be the second test. Then on the third test we're going to put the best armour quality on, and then with the weight saved we're going to put it into torpedo protection and manoeuvrability if we've got any left over, possibly some more weight. So they're the three different tests that we're going to do. I might do a fourth test, which when I put the beam up, instead of putting extra armour on, I might just put torpedo protection on. It all depends on how many torpedoes we eat. So we're doing this test in 1915 because this is like the most neutral time period. It's smack bang in the middle of the campaign, so this will be like the majority of the battles are going to be fought with these types of ships. So without further ado, let's see how we get on. So I'm just going to keep it as simple as possible and just have all the ships follow this lead ship. So the auto-aim's decided that HE is the way forward. Can't particularly say I agree with it, but we'll see how it gets on. Well, it quickly burnt it down to the ground, so maybe HE was the way forward. So far, they haven't even been able to get within range to shoot. So to keep it as fair as possible, I'm not going to do any manual aiming. I'm just going to let the auto aim take over. So they've actually got within range of firing some torpedoes there, so there's a chance that we might get hit with some torpedoes, which we have. But he still barely took any damage. We unfortunately suffered a critical hit here. But it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to sink us. Okay, so they did 27,000 damage and didn't sink a single ship. 420 crew losses. So 27,000 and 420 crew losses. Right, next up is maximum beam. And then, should we do torpedo protection this time? Or shall we put it into armour? We could do a bit of a mix. That's really expensive, that is. Well, I think let's do torpedo protection. I think this is going to be a bit too much. Let's see what this gives us. That's even more. So let's do that and then just reduce this slightly. Okay, so this ship costs 54.6. So let's calculate how much we can get. Right, so we're a little bit over. So bear with me 1 second. Let's do that times by that divided by right, so we can have 48. So it's only 6 less ships, and the good thing with this is the maximum beam is actually a really useful thing to have because of the extra accuracy. So potentially this is the best design out of all the ones we're going to test, mainly because the maximum beam gives better accuracy. So not particularly because of the extra weight that we get to spend, just the extra accuracy. So I think it'll all depend, if you're going to go maximum beam, whether to put some into torpedo defense or shore up your armor. But I do think that maximum beam is going to have the best results. So it'll be interesting to see actually. What have we got at 10 kilometers? 9.1. 10 kilometers, 7.4. So what's that? 1.7 higher. 173468. So it's not quite 25%. But yeah, it looks like if we lost 6 ships out of 54, then we lose approximately 12%, but we gain 22% in accuracy. So I do reckon that maximum beam is the better choice. Interestingly, we see the destroyers first this time. Last time we saw the battleships first. So, a little bit of a different scenario. I do think that the enemy have different behaviours. I was doing some testing with secondary guns, and sometimes the enemy torpedo boats were staying miles away from me, and sometimes they were coming right in close. And the only thing I was changing was the length of, or the calibre of my secondary guns. So I do think that the enemy do have different behaviours on how they control the ships. So unfortunately, because of the enemy behaviour difference, the results are going to be a little bit muddied, because they're not coming in at me with all the ships at the same time. They're just feeding them to me in a piecemeal. So it's unlikely that they're going to land any torpedoes like they did in the last battle. And I think a large portion of the damage that they dealt in that last battle was a critical hit from a torpedo. So yeah, the behaviour of the enemy ships has definitely affected the results slightly. But I do think that the 22% extra accuracy with 12% less ships is a better choice. Just makes sense mathematically. So yeah, I think that first battle, taking that critical hit is what's skewed the results slightly. But next one, we're going to increase the armour to the maximum. Now we've got 11% more to spend, so let's put the torpedo defence up. We could put the critical protection up if we wanted. Or we could just put extra armour on. Now personally, I think that extra armour is more important, because if they can't get through the armour, then they can't get critical hits. But it's potential that this will protect from critical hits from torpedoes. I don't actually know, but it would make sense. I think the armour scheme is pretty decent as it is, so let's just do that. Okay. So now we're up to 70 million. So now the cost has increased significantly. So let's see how many we can get for 70 million. Okay, so we can afford 33.6 now. So I'll give them 34, just give them the benefit of the doubt. So 0.6, 0.4, 35, 30. So if we wanted, we could give them one extra light cruiser to make it perfect, but I don't think there's much point in that. So they've led with the destroyers again this time. Interesting that on that first one, they didn't lead with the destroyers. Yeah, they're feeding them into me piecemeal again. Well, it does seem that with the less ships, I'm struggling to deal with the torpedo boats a bit more. Yeah, even though they were feeding them in piecemeal, they've still managed to get close enough to fire torpedoes this time. Yeah, they're not killing the enemy anywhere near as quick as they were before, with the decreased amount of ships firing. I think we were rather lucky that them 4 torpedo salvos that they fired off didn't do anything. Did they land one on this? Let's have a look. Yeah, so they did land 1 torpedo. But it only did 496 because of the torpedo protection. Yep, that torpedo only did 296 damage, so the torpedo protection's helping to mitigate the amount of damage that's being done, but it means that we're not killing them fast enough to stop them from actually damaging us in the first place. So we took slightly more damage this time, but I think the main issue was we were just simply not killing them quick enough. Okay, so next up is increasing the displacement, so we've now got more. Interesting. Looks like we're going to have to move these forward slightly. Not just slightly, we're going to have to move them forward miles. Right then, this is going to be an issue with the 4-weight offset here. Even though we've got this engine all the way at the back, say engine, funnel, but it's determines where the engine's going to go. Oh dear. This is not going to be easy to balance. So we'll be able to move the engine quite considerably now, so that's going to help. Right, we're able to put some more guns on now, because we've increased the displacement, so let's do that. Not happy about this gigantic gap here though. Right, I think that'll do. I wonder if we can stick a gun there. No. No can do. So that's just an issue with this whole design, unfortunately. Right, so we've able to stick an extra gun on, maybe two, and we've got 7% left. The engine efficiency's dropped significantly, so we're gonna have to put a bigger boiler on. Bigger funnel, sorry. Okay, that'll do. That's pretty much spot on. Okay, so now we've got the extra weight that we can put into armour. We could put one higher geared turbines on to get that little bit extra weight. So let's go on to Citadel armour first, because that's the lightest. Right, this could do with being at 6. Okay, we can put it a bit higher. So this 5, and then these around 7.5. And then what are we over? Just slightly. Right, we've now got a 4 weight offset. Not quite sure how that's happened. Probably the superstructure armor. So we're just gonna have to move these back again. Right, that's pretty much spot on. Okay, so we're up to 100 million now. So let's see how many we can get. $23.4. So let's give them 24. Or we could give them 23 and take off a light cruiser and destroy it. Okay, let's see how we get on with this one. So we've got higher displacement, which is giving us more armour, quite considerably more armour, and 2 extra secondary guns. See how we get on. So we started off with 54 ships. We dropped down to 48 with the maximum beam and some torpedo protection. So we're now half of 48 practically. I don't think having half the amount of ships for some extra armour and a couple of extra secondary guns is worth it in my opinion. So now with our increased displacement size, they're actually able to spot us before we spot them now. Unfortunately for them, they're doing a bit of a piecemeal attack, and I think their sinking ships got in the way of them firing torpedoes as well, so that screwed them over a little bit. So even with the extra armour, I'm still taking penetrating shots. That was to the secondary tower. So we're taking considerably more damage this time round. We're up to 3k damage, 3.5k damage. So increasing the displacement to get extra armour was definitely not a good idea. Okay, so the test results were pretty inconclusive, really. Mainly because I think the enemy ship, the fleet size is probably too large for them to be able to control properly. But I think the two things that we can take away from this is increasing the displacement didn't help us at all. If anything, it hindered us because it made us a bigger target to hit, and it didn't prevent us from getting penetrating shots. And increasing the beam was better than having minimum beam. So increasing displacement bad, increasing beam good. I think they're the two main takeaways from this. But I'm going to be doing some more tests. The next set of tests is going to be on a smaller scale, where there's not going to be as many ships, so the AI might have a bit better time handling them. And then the following set of tests is going to be, I'm going to design the enemy ships. We're just going to do battleship versus battleship on that, because it's going to be pretty difficult to do a proper test with a variety of different ships. So in that one where I design the ships, I'm just going to design an enemy battleship. One with expensive, one with cheap. I'm going to control one of them, then I'm going to control the other one and see which one we get the best results out of. So so yeah, we're going to end this recording here. On the next one, we're going to do a smaller scale of what we've just done and see if we can narrow down the results to where the enemy are actually able to control the fleet. So yeah, hope that was interesting. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.